Freedom, living beyond fear and limitation. Bible verse: where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. 2 Corinthians 3:17. Freedom is not found in changing your circumstances. It is found in realizing your true nature in God. Many believe freedom comes from having control over life, but true freedom is the release from fear, limitation, and the belief that you are bound by outer conditions. It is an inner state, a realization that your life is not confined by what appears in the world. The sense of limitation begins with the belief that you are separate, vulnerable, and dependent on external forces. This belief creates fear of lack, failure, rejection, and loss. But when you begin to understand that God is the source and substance of your life, these fears begin to lose their hold. You are no longer defined by conditions. You are sustained by divine presence. Freedom comes as awareness deepens. You begin to see that many of the limitations you once accepted are not absolute truths, but appearances shaped by thought and belief. As your consciousness shifts, these limitations begin to dissolve. You realize that what once seemed impossible is no longer fixed, because your life is not governed by appearances, but by the reality of God within. This freedom does not mean you ignore responsibility or reality. It means you no longer feel controlled by them. You still act, decide, and participate in life, but from a place of inner independence. There is a sense that nothing outside of you has the power to define or limit your true being. Fear is the opposite of freedom. It binds the mind, narrows perception, and keeps you focused on limitation. But fear is not a power, it is a belief. When you turn inward and rest in the awareness of God, fear begins to fade. In its place comes a quiet strength, a knowing that you are supported and guided in every moment. Freedom also comes through surrender. When you release the need to control outcomes, you step into a greater flow of life. This flow is not chaotic, it is guided by divine intelligence. As you trust this guidance, you feel less burdened and more at ease. Life becomes something you move with rather than something you struggle against. As this freedom grows, your perspective changes. Situations that once felt overwhelming lose their intensity. You begin to respond with clarity instead of reaction. There is space between you and your thoughts, your fears, and your circumstances. In that space, you discover a deeper identity, one that is not limited by the world. This inner freedom naturally expresses outward. You become more confident, more peaceful, and more open to life. You are no longer held back by fear of what might happen. Instead, you move forward with trust, knowing that God is present in every step you take. Freedom is the realization that you are not bound. You are free in God. It is the understanding that nothing can separate you from the presence, power, and life that sustains you. When you live in this awareness, fear dissolves, limitation fades, and life opens before you with new possibilities. For in truth, freedom is not something you gain, it is something you awaken to as you recognize your oneness with God.